Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
And I'm Ryan Newman.
All right, this is question 6 in our 2021 preview series. Be sure to subscribe because in the coming weeks, this is of course G5 week, but next week will be Pac-12, followed by the rest of the Power 5 conferences, so you'll want to be subscribed for that. But our question for today is, who are the top G5 head coach candidates for Power 5 jobs? So not saying necessarily they're going to leave anytime soon in some cases. No. We can address that as we get to each one, I guess. But let's start out with number 8. And it is Gus Malzahn of UCF. I had him third on my personal list just because I still think he's a borderline top 25 head coach in college football. Did a very solid job at Auburn. Of course, had kind of one down year at the end there. But a lot of people thought he didn't even necessarily need to get fired at Auburn. So if I were a Power 5 school, I would be more confident in him than, a lot of guys ahead of him on this list. So Ryan, you were just a little lower.
I kind of like to see a little reproving first. Obviously, sure. if somebody, like you said, if a Power 5 school went and got him right now, they'd be like, well, we just got somebody that some other Power 5 school didn't want. So if he could do a little Hugh Freeze act, can resurface and prove himself Liberty, or maybe even, heck, Jim McElwain's doing a pretty good job at Central Michigan, kind of reproving himself. So something like that, where give me a little bounce back. I get it. I'm with you. I think he probably will do that. It was hard for me to put him there after he was just let go.
That's fair.
Okay, we moving on to number 7?
We're moving on.
Okay. Brent Brennan, number 7 from San Jose State. So amazing job he did last year in particular. They haven't had consecutive winning seasons since 91 and 92. So practically 30 years. They haven't had 2 winning seasons in a row. So last year they went 7-1. And this year they're returning 20 starters. So there's a very strong chance that they're going to have another winning season. Last year they actually won all 7 of their Mountain West Conference games by at least 10 points. So they did very well in that Mountain West Conference. So what Brent Brennan did last year was unreal, really. He didn't take over, a high-flying program. So took him a couple years to get going, no doubt. But he did, and this year he's got a team set up to be the best team he's probably had there. So hard to beat last year, but last year came out of nowhere. So highest expectations for sure. And I think after this year, I think he's probably going to, with all the seniors that he has, I think he'll cash in on maybe a Power 5 job.
Okay. Number 6 on the list is Sean Lewis at Kent State. And he took over a program that had been horrible for 5 years before he got there. And by year 2, he made a bowl game and developed a really good quarterback in Dustin Crum. And then last year was year 3, 2020, and they went 3-1. So only 4 games, but hey, you'll take it. And he's an offensive coach. That's what I like about him. He's young, only 35 years old. So I think he would be, it's hard to say a guy coming from Kent State is a sexy hire, but I think he kind of would be a sexy hire for a lot of P5 schools.
Yeah, I don't think the Alabamas and Auburns, that types of the world, but some of those other jobs for sure. He's done a
I thought Illinois. I thought he would have been a good hire there.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Something like that. Illinois, I thought would have been a good fit there. Yep. All right, let's move on to number 5. We have Jay Norvell from Nevada. He took over a program that wasn't in the best of shape. Brian Polian kind of took over things from Chris Ault. Chris Ault, obviously, we know had a good run, and Brian Polian kind of let it dwindle a little bit there at the end. So after Norvell's first year was 3-9 there. After that, though, the last 3 years, 3 straight winning seasons, including last year where they made the conference championship game, and this year sets up to be another great year. They got practically everybody coming back. It's looking like all 11 starters on defense are going to be seniors, and about 8 on offense. So a very, very senior-heavy team. And actually, maybe their best player is a junior, the quarterback Carson Strong. So he set himself up well. He's going to have a really good year. And if I was him, I'd probably bolt after this year, considering how many seniors I got. But you can't deny the fact that he did a great job there at Nevada.
Yeah, and just a quick fact check there. I don't think he made the conference championship game last year. Wasn't it San Jose State and Boise?
Yep.
Okay. It's
fine. It was a de facto semifinal I gave Nevada versus probably
okay.
But
versus
nope,
San
you're
Jose.
right. You're right.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure I'm not crazy.
You fact checked the crap out of me there, Mike.
Okay. Number 4 on the list is Bill Clark of UAB. He's been extremely successful there, leading the program back from extinction, competing for Conference USA titles every single year. And, for whatever reason, like his name will come up, but he hasn't seemed to be that close to getting that P5 job. But if he keeps winning like this, then, eventually one will show up for him.
Yep. You got to think so. All right, let's move on to number 3. We got Jamey Chadwell from Coastal Carolina, America's team. Boy, they have come a long way in a short amount of time. Jamey Chadwell has come a long way in a short amount of time. If you go back a year ago, Jamey Chadwell doesn't get anywhere near this list.
No.
But after an 11-1 magical year, and then going into this year with returning everybody, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, all of a sudden Chadwell's a hot commodity around here. And I think what's been good to see from Chadwell, obviously they had a great year, but he's capitalized on the recruiting front. They're right on par with Appalachian State and Louisiana, kind of the two guys that have kind of been the cream of the crop as far as recruiting goes in the Sun Belts. But he's got them on par with them this year, and then 2022 recruiting, they're in first already for the. So capitalizing on that was my obviously he's a good coach on the field, but to pair that with some positive steps on the recruiting front, I like it. So it's Jamey Chadwell's done a great job.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe stepping up to number 2, there's kind of a big jump, though. You made a good case for Chadwell there, but we've got Billy Napier at Louisiana. He's coached under both Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban and has done an incredible job at Louisiana. Elite recruiter, has quickly turned them into one of the top G5 programs in the country, 2 straight double-digit win seasons, very possibly another one coming up in 2021. So he's killing it. There are no question marks with him in my mind.
No, I gotta agree with you. Yep, and I think there is a difference between the top 2 and then 3, just because they've proven it for a longer period of time.
Right.
But number 1, and I think it's a pretty clear number 1. Luke Fickell from Cincinnati. I know you love your Napier, but
I love Napier. I thought about it a lot, but yeah.
I think Fickell deserves the number 1 spot here. If you lead G5 team to the New Year's 6 spot, you're almost automatically going to be considered for number 1. So there's really just not a whole lot to like about what he's done. He's got big time.
Not to like? Whole lot. I don't know.
Did I not? A whole lot not.
There's not a whole lot not to like. I don't know. I know what you're saying.
A whole lot not to like. He likes.
Is that what you said? It sounded like you said so. There's not a whole. Whatever. I get what you're saying.
I like everything about Fickell.
There you go.
He's got big time experience, obviously at Ohio State. He recruits really, really well. He's led his team to 3 straight top 25 finishes. It would be surprising if it doesn't turn into 4 after this year. If I had to try to pick one knock maybe on him as a coach, it's just the fact that he's only ever coached in Ohio. So if you're a program, from the Pac-12 or maybe in the Southeast, maybe he just doesn't have the connections for those programs. If you're a Big Ten school, it seems like it make an insane amount of fit. Like Michigan State seems like, okay, that's a great fit when they had their opening. But that's a pretty weak thing to try to attack him on. But he's coached at like Akron, Ohio State, and Cincy. So, but he's been awesome. There's just no denying he's number 1 right now.
Yeah, and I guess we should address the whole, the premise of this episode is candidates for Power 5 jobs. Well, with the 12-team playoff that's coming, a lot of these G5 jobs have suddenly become a lot more desirable. Like, Fickell at Cincinnati, he could be happy to stay there, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's there for the long haul, because if you're continue to recruit like Cincinnati does and you get access to the playoff, maybe that's a lot better than like going to, say, Michigan State and trying to struggle against the rest of the Big Ten, or even going to, Michigan is obviously a great job, but maybe to him, he sees the access to the playoff in Cincinnati and would rather stay there than trying to, resurrect Michigan. So,
yeah, I think the playoff effect is real. If you keep the 4-team playoff, there's really just no chance, right? So, very, very rare air. So it definitely does open things up a little bit for the G5.
Same with Gus Malzahn at UCF. Like there's maybe not going to be the urgency for these guys to take Power 5 jobs. Maybe they'll be happier to stay in the G5.
Yeah,
which I think is good for college football.
I agree. Yeah, I think I love seeing the G5 programs rise like that. So, yep.
All right. Well, how about let's show our list to the YouTube viewers and go through some honorable mentions. So I had Jeff Traylor from UTSA. He's just got off to a great start in year one there, both on the field and on the recruiting trail. I think he had the #1 class in Conference USA. So he could be a rising star if he keeps it up. And then Will Healy at Charlotte. I know 2020 was down, but just overall
injuries, a lot of injuries, that especially from the QB, so that hurt a lot.
I'm just confident in his trajectory. I don't worry about 1 year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like Will Healy too. I also put Willie Fritz. I think Willie Fritz has done a great job down there in Tulane. And one guy that probably doesn't get enough attention for what he's done because he just hasn't had like a great year by normal standards. But Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan. I mean, they were terrible for so long, and he's made them like decent, which is remarkable. They're consistently trying to make bowl games now, right around 500. So that's like 10, 11 wins for most other schools compared to what they did. So got to give them a lot of credit for that one.
Yeah, there's so many names like this, even more so than in the quarterback episode last week. There's so many coach names you could go through, like Troy Calhoun at Air Force, Mike New, Ball State,
Jeff Monken.
Independent doesn't count. Got you there.
Ken Niumatalolo.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well,
Sonny Dykes.
Sonny Dykes could return to the Power 5. Who knows?
Yep.
Okay, that'll do it for today's episode. Tomorrow is our final episode in Group of 5 week. We're going to give our official picks to win every G5 conference. So we will talk to you then, but also leave a comment below with your thoughts on our list here. Anyone underrated, overrated, and maybe Ryan will accidentally say your name if you comment. He's done it before. All right. See ya.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.